Hello everyone, on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome. Today we are being joined once again by our dear Dan Blanchard. Dan Blanchard is an award-winning and best-selling author, speaker, and educator, and he's going to be having a very interesting conversation with Eddie De Jesus, whom is a licensed professional counselor, licensed professional educator. But before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness in the planet, and that you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing with someone that you know that can benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, when we live stream, we have an active chat screen you're going to see on my side or under the video in case that you're following us from a smartphone, and we invite you to participate with us through there. Finally, we want to invite you to participate with Mindalia Televisión, where we are broadcasting information in Spanish every day, and Mindalia Televisao, where we are sharing information in Portuguese. Having said that, let's not delay this any further, and I have the great pleasure of leaving you with Dan and Eddie. Guys, welcome to Mindalia. How are you?
Wonderful, Mirna. Thank you. It's so good to be back with Mindalia TV and Mindalia TV's great audience out there. Hey, everyone. Wait till you meet my buddy, Eddie De Jesus. You're going to love this guy. You know what I'm saying? I always joke with Eddie about how me and him are two old warriors. And I know me and Mirna were talking earlier about how you can't teach old dog new tricks. Well, these two old dogs, these two old warriors, learning new tricks all the time. You know what I'm saying? So quick, let me give you a little fill-in of what I'm talking about here. So 1996 is when I met Eddie De Jesus. We were both became inner city middle school teachers. And back in those days, I was a wrestling champion that turned educator. And my buddy Eddie De Jesus was like a kickboxing champion that turned educator. And we stayed over there at that middle school for years. We did all sorts of things. Eddie was running his kickboxing clubs and all a million other things that he was doing. I was running wrestling practices and doing things with judo. And we were just so busy in that middle school during those years we were there helping the young boys become better men. And then eventually, believe it or not, we both ended up at the high school. Eddie eventually becomes a guidance counselor, and I become a history teacher up at the high school. And, I'm helping out with like wrestling stuff. Eddie's still doing kickboxing stuff and weightlifting stuff. And we're just always helping the young men, in the school become better men. And while this is going on, I mean, Eddie's running like 5 different clubs. I'm running different clubs. Sometimes the two of us jump in. We run the same club. Sometimes we visit each other's clubs. We help out each other. I mean, we're doing all these amazing things to help the youth, especially the young men, right? And we see that, something's going on here. And we're like a little worried about the young men of today and what the future holds for them. So I started like writing books about it. And Eddie, he starts this whole like man up program, right? And I know we were like doing the Bible club together. We were doing a couple things together. And next thing I know, Eddie brings this man up program to the front, and he asked me to join it. And I'm like, of course. I mean, those kids will benefit from us two old warriors. So I jump in there with Eddie on the man up program. And that thing just took off, everyone. You're not going to believe how much that took off. So, that's a quick little snapshot of, my buddy Eddie De Jesus. Eddie, I'd love you to jump in now and kind of tell the audience a little bit more about just some things maybe I left out. And then from there, if you could talk about how you came up with the idea for like the Man Up program, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Buenos dias, everyone. I'm Eddie De Jesus. I'm a guidance counselor, and I'm also a licensed professional counselor. He pretty much said my background. I am also an MMA trainer. I train fighters here and there. And I'm a coach. I'm a father of 3 beautiful children. And what else? I'm very athletic, and I'm just very highly involved. And he's absolutely right. We've done a lot of programs together. Reason being, I'm very high strung, and I'm one of those type of guys that we have a limited amount of time to live. Let's make it productive. So my MENA program is basically based on a inspiration from my pastor, Dr. Peter Leal from Victory Church in Middletown, Connecticut. He was very into leadership. He was doing leadership seminars, and as he was doing this, he was telling, all these things that he was teaching me was basically all the things that the kids were missing. A lot of the kids at the high school are missing, come from broken homes, especially they come from fatherless homes, and with that void, not that void being there, they're missing a lot for that just developmentally in their growth. So the MANA program started off as a program, an after-school program, with just a few kids being referred to by social workers. But we found after a couple of years that they all had one thing in common, that there was no father figure there, and there was no male substitute there. And during their developmental stages, they were missing some key components of how to become a real man. And those.
Can I jump in, Eddie, real quick right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know me and you have talked a lot about our upbringing and what we went through growing up, and I love what you just said about how me and you noticed that a lot of the young men that we're working with don't really have a real father figure there. And we've spent some time talking about our upbringing, our families, how we grew up with, and we didn't exactly have the best father role model either. And I think that I don't know, maybe that just brought it to light easier for guys like for me and you, made us more sensitive, more aware that our kids today need father figures. They need good father figures. So to me, because I was lacking that, and I know, you told me a few times you were lacking the perfect father figure as well. It was just like an inner drive in me and an inner drive in you to make it happen for our youth. Is that kind of like what you were feeling too?
Yeah. It just definitely you see a void in these kids' lives. You can see an emptiness in their lives because of that lack of father figure in there, and that lack of a substitute to kind of fill that role. And there's just so many foundational components that was missing in these kids' lives, and they couldn't even overcome obstacles. They couldn't little things would overwhelm them, and that's something where a father or a role model would show them how to get through. So, that's the basis of the MANA program. Now, the MANA program, go ahead.
I was going to say, when I was going through it, but differently than you, noticing this void and noticing that our young men were in trouble, for me, over a period of like 10 years, I had my students saying, "Hey, mister, you should write a book because you're the most inspirational teacher I've ever had. You should write a book." So to me, I kept saying, nah. But eventually they planted a seed in me. And I knew that was the route I was going to go, was to write a book to help these young men out there that are missing something in their lives and, getting overwhelmed by the simplest of things. I wanted to kind of fill that void for them and help give them some skills and some leadership strategies to not be so overwhelmed, right? So that's, for me, it was kind of laid out because my students kept laying it in my lap, even though I was trying to ignore it. What was it that, I know you talked about, your priest that you were talking to, but what kind of put it right in your face saying, you know what, I got to start this program? Was it just your priest or was it something more?
Well, it's a problem that's not going away and it's getting worse. It's one of the key components of success in schools today is that family involvement. And when kids are being raised by single parents, it's very hard for them to be successful in school. So it had to be done. I was doing it on a small scale, but here was a much bigger scale. But in the program, we started adding components to it that they were missing. The leadership, the growth manuals, the uniforms that it wear. The professionalism. So those are the things that everything that father would teach his son. That's what we would teach him in the program.
Yeah, and I love what you did in that program. That program grew. It grew fast. You know what I'm saying? And I know, we had like 50 kids. We had people, initially we, when I say mostly you, we're reaching out to community members, and next thing you know, people were coming in. we just kept adding components. You had the early morning like weightlifting, the bike rides. I mean, you brought in the speakers, the strongmen, the SWAT team, the fire department. I mean, you did so many cool things
Mm.
that I'm hoping that you can share a little bit more of some of those things you did with our audience.
Yeah. Well, it takes a village. With this kids today, it takes more than just teachers getting involved. You got to have involved the whole community. Firemen, policemen, like you said, speakers, and then you have to have organizations that help supply funds to this program. But the other thing is, realistically, we're only going to see them for about 6 hours a day. The other 14 hours is seen from people from the community. So if we tap into the community and they see these same people, I mean, now we have a relationship that'll go beyond just the school. They can actually have a relationship with these people that they're meeting inside the program that actually live within the community. It takes a village to raise these kids today.
Oh, no doubt about it. And you definitely tapped into the village. For our Mindalia audience out there that don't know Eddie DeJesus, listen, this guy, he must have been working 80 to 100 hours a week with the stuff he was doing, his full-time job, his family, his responsibilities at home and in the community. And then, I mean, the stuff he did was just endless with the Man Up program. And he was always out in the community, always bringing the community and getting that village to help raise the kid. Like we always said, you were probably one of the hardest working men that I know, Eddie, when you were doing this. And you did some amazing things. I said, I know we ended up on like radio shows and all sorts of things. I mean, we had a real nice run there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yep. And then it morphed into my own business now. So I'm doing a counseling business because I really want to reach out to, it's not just our community. It needs to be expanded to other communities and get a mindset that men need to get involved in these kids' lives. We're losing a lot of leaders in society today because of lack of men getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to tell our audience what kind of man Eddie DeJesus is, I mean, it's a long story, but here's the thing. Eddie and I both got transferred to different schools because that's just how it works. In public education, you do get transferred. You can't always say where you want to be. And then that was kind of the end of the Man Up program. Eddie and I were both like heartbroken that this thing that it spent endless hours building up that had such a positive impact on our youth, especially the males, and on the community, was just all of a sudden going to end. So where most people would have saw like defeat and been crumbled and all that other stuff that goes with that, not Eddie DeJesus. Eddie, somehow you found a way to pick up your head, drive on, and just continue what you were doing, even in like a let's say a bigger fashion in another venue. I mean, how did that all happen? How did you do that?
Listen, Dan, by the grace of God, I mean, he gives me a vision, and I'm going for it. Just having the right people in place, the right, staying focused on what I want to do. I feel it's my calling. I think it's where I'm supposed to be. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, no doubt. And I got to tell you, Eddie, every time me and you were together, hanging out with those young males, those inner city males, those those difficult sometimes males, I always felt that me and you were right where we were supposed to be. We were two old warriors in that room, with these young wannabe warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like we gave them somebody to look up to. You know what I'm saying? I always felt a lot of pride about that, and a lot of it was just special. What me and you had. Well, and physically and with our backgrounds, with our experience, with our skills and knowledge of knowing how to fight, knowing how to be a warrior. And I thought that the kids really could latch onto that and really connect with us and could see that they don't have to be out there beating people up. There's other ways to be real men. And I think we did a very good job portraying that to them. But then, like I said, later on, you end up in this out there in the real world and you start your own business. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, what that's been like?
Well, it's just a continuation of what the program started at the high school. It's a counseling service called Man Up Counseling and Mentoring Centers. It's if you want to take a look at it, it's manup.com. Yeah, manupcounseling.com. So it's just we just extended the program. We're going to take that program and just share it with everyone. It's going to be mentoring. It's going to be counseling, and it's not just for the teenagers. It's all for all men. All men need to confide in other men in order to become courageous men. That's our motto. So we don't need to be
Yeah.
defined by our brokenness.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, it's so hard to be a real man in isolation. And unfortunately, too many of us men are stuck in that old way of thinking. That American cowboy, rugged independence. I can do it all on my own sort of thinking. I mean, we can't do that. It's hard to be a real man in isolation. Like you just said, Eddie, us men need men regardless of what age you're at. And yet, most of the time, us men don't have other men. We don't. We go to work all day. We come home. We usually work extra hours, overtime, maybe a second job. We come home, maybe like eat dinner quick, go maybe coach the kids' baseball team or whatever. And I mean, we're running all over the place between work and family. And where's our time for just companionship with other men so we can talk about our issues and struggles and challenges and fears and just get good advice to know that we're not alone. I mean, it's not happening for us men. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, we need to be we need to be transparent with one another, and we need to be honest with one another and the things that we're struggling with. And that's what the whole concept of the counseling program that I run. That's where real growth is when you connect with guys and you're not hiding anything. We need each other. We're built for relationships. We need each other.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we asked our students, Eddie, when we were running the Man Up program, we asked our students to man up. You know what I'm saying? And I think we did a good job at that. But the thing is, it's not just like teenagers or students that need to man up. It's everybody needs to man up. All ages, we all need to man up. And I need to man up. I mean, there are days that I do it wonderfully, and there are days that I don't do it so good. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if we asked our students to man up and they found the courage to go and spend time with other males and man up and not do that trash you see on reality TV, then I think if they've got the courage to do that, then I think all the adult men out there should also have the courage or find the courage to also do that. Man up and realize that you're not doing it every day. You're not doing it to your best. And most of us are not doing it to our best potential or our best efforts every day. We go up and down, I'm sure, with that. And if we're in isolation, maybe we're down a little more than we're up. But, we got to find the courage to do those sort of things, no matter what age you are. Wouldn't you agree, Eddie?
Well, sometimes the courage needs to come from other men. As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. So we need to. Sometimes it just needs a little push to get in that direction. Sometimes also is people don't have a strategy on how to do life. So that's why another man will come along. Everybody's got a story, and sometimes our stories can help other people build their own stories.
Yeah, I've always said, Eddie, and I'm sure you've heard this from me somewhere along the long road that we have journeyed, is that I've always said, hey, here's the deal. Every person you meet, you are superior and inferior to them. In some way, somehow, you can share something about yourself that will help improve their lives, and they can do the same for you. If you're willing, if you're not judging, and you're willing to listen to their journey, listen to what they have to offer, somewhere in there, you can find something that will help improve your lives. So again, we're superior and inferior to everybody out there. So we should be trying to meet everybody, I don't want to say just males, but yeah, males, it's important. But everybody we should be trying to meet so that in some way we can better their lives, and in some way they can better our lives. And I know, Eddie, you've been a great example of that. I mean, there have been days when I've been like tired and a little beat up, a little worn down, and I've looked over and seen you going like 100 miles an hour, like overflowing with confidence. And I'm like, Eddie's still going. I got to keep going too. That's just what old warriors do, right?
Yeah, well, we need each other. We need to kind of push each other. Link arms. life is not meant to be easy, but with a little encouragement, we can get through.
Yeah. And I've heard lots of times, I've shared lots of times that, like, our creator is not really concerned about our comfort. It's, our creator is concerned about our character.
Mm,
So, like you said, life's not meant to be easy. It's supposed to mold us into real man where we like man up. You know
mm,
what I'm saying?
mm.
So, I know, Eddie, you got this, now this man up counseling business going. Like, what are your future plans? Like, what do you see yourself doing with that, or even doing beyond that?
Well, we call it Man Up Counseling Centers because my vision is we're going to have centers all over the place, and basically instill biblical man up principles. Basically how to become a real man, not the man that's on television, but the man that's God wanted us to be, courageous warriors, people that overcome obstacles, people that who raise families, people that are good fathers, people that are good brothers, people that are leaders in society. That's the type of man that we have, and sometimes we, that's there. I'd like to spread that to that's that principle and concepts, spread it to other districts and other towns and whatnot. So that's my bigger vision.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
love.
yeah.
Yeah, I love how everything you're saying about your mission of creating better men, not the ones you see on TV, but of creating better men, is like everything I've been writing about in my books, and how I started that way back before I even knew that you were going down that road in a different avenue. I mean, we were both like kind of like separately going down that road, in different places, but we were both going to the same place. You were doing it through starting the programs you were starting. I was doing it through my books, and then boom, our paths crossed, and it was like, let's do this,
Mm,
and it turned out awesome. And here we are, our paths kind of separated again, no fault of our own. It was just how life happens. And you're still doing it now in another avenue, same thing, just like the next step down your journey. And I'm still doing it as well. I mean, it's just, I think it's so cool how me and you are on the same wavelength. We see that there's a need, and that we're doing something about it, in our own ways, sometimes together and sometimes apart, but we're
mm.
doing something about it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I don't. There's no such thing as coincidence in life. It was meant to be. So our paths are joining, and we're here to help other men.
Yeah, no doubt. So I know that Myrna's going to be getting ready to come on again pretty soon to wrap up. So I'm just thinking, is there something that I haven't asked you yet, Eddie, that I probably should have asked you?
No, just a man up.
Anything you want to share? I know you talked about the centers and all that. Anything else you want to share, or should we have Myrna close us out?
Yeah, well, we the Man Up program or the Man Up Counseling Center is basically it's geared towards men. Where we specialize in men only. Later on down the road, as you know, I do a women's program called Strength. Later on down the road, we'll probably do a women's program. But men need other men to become men. So that's the whole the whole concept behind that. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And I remember helping you run that strength program for the woman at the high school. So
yeah,
I guess that's coming down the road for you as well again. And I see Myrna's back. Welcome back, Myrna. Yeah, we're ready for you to close out.
Hey, thank you, gentlemen, for allowing the Mindalia TV cameras being a channel for your ideas. But before we leave, I would love to ask you, Eddie, can you please repeat where can our audience find you?
I'm sorry. Repeat what?
Where can our audience find you?
Okay, well, I'm at manupcounseling.com. Manupcounseling.com
Thank you.
online.
How about Dan? Where can we find you?
Oh, gosh, I'm all over the place. danblanchard.net, granddaddy6.com, all the social media things, Facebook, you name it, I'm there. Check out my YouTube channel. Check me out on Amazon under Dan Blanchard and Daniel Blanchard, whole bunch of books. And of course, Mindalia TV. Check me out on that. Woo, woo, woo.
Thank you so much. Well, I don't think we have anything left to say for today. But thank you again, and remember, don't leave without liking and subscribing not only this channel, but our Spanish channel, Mindalia Televisión, and our Portuguese channel, Mindalia Televisao. We're sending you a very big hug, and until next time, bye.
Bye.
Take care.